He's controlling, he's rude, he's full of himself. That's what they say. But she still lets him bang her brains out every night.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. Crazy week this week, right, guys? Charlie Kirk got assassinated for speaking his point of view. My old high school, Evergreen High School in Colorado here, they had a school shooting on the same day. Man, some good news. One of my best friends since the sixth grade had twin girls. So congrats to my man, Chad. You're going to have your hands full at 47, you old bastard. But thank God this week's over. Am I right, guys? We're going to be talking about why being an a-hole gets you that sweet punani. Now, to be perfectly transparent, a lot of these traits are really not about being a jerk, okay? They're about having some self-respect and not letting people walk all over you. And the thing is, while people on the outside look at it like you're being an a-hole, what's really happening is you're fully embracing that dominant masculine presence. And women love it because it provides structure to the relationship, which lets them relax into their feminine, feel more safe and secure. Before we get into it, though, guys, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. So let's go ahead and kick this off. When a guy can say no without explaining himself, a lot of outsiders will think, man, this guy is cold. This guy has no feelings. He doesn't take her feelings into consideration. What a jerk, right? What an a-hole. But the thing is that when you're able to say no and tell your wife or your girlfriend no, and be able to set boundaries and be able to weather her emotional storms and tantrums about it, she sees you as a man who she can't push around, and she loves it. She loves it. She's like, man, I can't get my way with this guy. I kind of dig that, because if I can't get my way with this guy, that means that other people aren't going to be able to manipulate him easier, and so that he can better handle life. And a lot of this stuff really comes down to whether you can handle life or not, right? So she sees that as someone who won't be pushed around, and she loves you for it. And the thing is that guys can really step over the line with some of this stuff, right? You can cross the line of being assertive and setting boundaries and whatever, and being a control freak. And so a lot of women might mistake a guy in the beginning who's really controlling as a guy who's able to maintain frame and set boundaries and stuff like that. But then he ends up just being a controlling, insecure jerk. And that's where, when those women get out of those relationships, they complain about guys like that because they initially fell for it, where they thought that, oh, this guy is just providing structure, and he's not, right? So you can do all this kind of stuff without being a controlling jerk. You don't actually have to be an a-hole. I don't know if you knew that. By the way, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail so far. And I hope to keep it that way for the foreseeable future. By the way, can you guys drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay? I just want to make sure my audio is good before we get too far into this. I see Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, good morning, gentlemen. Thank God it's Friday. Nurse Chick always gets this.
So naughty.
She is.
I'm going to come.
And I will, definitely. And then CW says, what's good, gents and Nurse Chick? Frame Friday. That's right. A lot of this stuff is about maintaining a strong masculine frame. That's why we're talking about this on a Friday. Jerry's in the house. What's up, man? And then my man Erkin. Good day, folks. Erkin's like a regular. He's like he's always in the chat. I love seeing this guy, and he always sends me Swedish krona super chats. I actually remembered that this time. And then Nurse Chick says number 1. So I guess you guys can hear me all right. All right. So another way that people might think that you're being an a-hole, but you're really not, is you don't adjust your decisions to please anymore. Okay. It might look selfish to others, but really you're being more decisive, and the thing is that a lot of women, they don't like making plans. They don't like making decisions. And the thing, and us guys being raised with the happy wife, happy life paradigm, we like to put that in her lap, right? What do you like to do, honey? Where do you want to go eat, honey? And women hate that crap. They're always like, you pick a place, right? And they throw it right back at you because they need a guy that makes decisions and makes plans. And a lot of guys are afraid of making the wrong decision. They're afraid, if I pick this place and she doesn't like it, now she's going to have something else to be mad about, right? And that's guys are just constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of their women's emotions. But guys who are a-holes don't ask for her permission. They don't ask for her to make a decision. They make the decisions. Like, let's go do what I want to do, right? When I first started practicing that, I had the paradigm of this wouldn't work. There's no way this will work. And what I found was, by testing it out, which I highly recommend you guys don't take my word for anything, go test out what I talk about. When I started testing this stuff out, I found, holy crap, this works so great. And on top of that, I get to do whatever I want to do. It's amazing. But for her, being the one in the relationship, it signals strength and certainty to her. She's like, I don't have to make decisions. I can just relax and show up and look hot. All I have to do is look hot. This is great. That's all I've ever wanted to do. So when I first started doing this, I was like, man, I always get to eat at the restaurants I want to eat at. I always get to eat the food I want to eat. I always get to go do the activities I want to do. This is phenomenal. What world did I land on, right? And Nurse Chick and I have been together for going on 5 years now, and she's been trained so well that she knows that if she doesn't chime in on what she actually wants to do, that I'll just pick a place, right? So she knows that if there's something that she wants to do, to speak up. Now she'll say, hey, I was thinking about X now, going and doing X. Let's do this weekend. And I'm like, yeah, sounds good. There's no reason not to take your girl's ideas under advisement. When you start practicing this stuff, a lot of guys think, oh no, she came up with the idea. F that. It's my way or the highway. And that's where you get into a-hole controlling territory. And that's not really what we want to do here. We just want to be more assertive, more decisive, be able to set boundaries and stuff like that, and actually have a healthy relationship, right? And with that, there's no reason not to take your girls buy-in on stuff. Okay, so but you being the guy that makes these decisions and you're not adjusting them to make her happy, that signals strength and certainty to her, and she really likes that. Speaking of which, a lot of guys have this problem where they have been deferring to their girl too much over time, trying to keep the peace, trying to make her happy, and it's eroded the attraction in the relationship. There's a 5-step process that women will do to you subconsciously, and if you don't know what's happening, you won't know how to defend against it. So grab the free ebook. It's the top link in the description, or go to ebook.fixdeadbedrooms.com. But it explains this sort of thing and why not having these traits that we're talking about today, assertiveness, boundaries, all that kind of stuff that looks to people on the outside like you're being an a-hole. If you don't have those qualities, she's going to walk all over you and eventually lose so much respect for you that she eventually cheats on you or leaves. Okay. So if you want to prevent that from happening, grab that ebook. Okay. So another thing that comes across as being sort of a cold a-hole to outsiders, especially nice guys, is you let her get upset without fixing it, right? It's not your job to fix her emotions. Okay. So people outside call it emotional neglect. They'll look at that like, man, what an a-hole. This guy's just emotionally neglecting her. She's got these problems. She's venting and he's not even there for her. And it's not about not being there for her. Okay. But the thing is that she will feel more safe and secure in the relationship when you don't react to every mood she's on. Like if I say it all the time, don't climb on her emotional roller coaster. Okay. Women they have, their emotions are like the weather is what David Data describes it as, right? Their emotions are like the weather. It changes. You can't control these changes. Okay. And so your job as a man in the relationship is to be the rock, to be the one that's not constantly shaken by emotions. And that's easy for you to do because you don't have as much estrogen pumping through your body as she does, right? You have testosterone, which allows you to keep more level-headed. Now, I'll tell you this, if you're a guy who is always up in his emotions, you have no emotional control, you have a lot of brain fog and all this kind of stuff, especially if you're getting older, you might want to get your testosterone levels checked. Okay. It's a big problem. It's a problem that most guys don't even realize is happening, but your testosterone levels are dropping as you get older naturally. But the thing is that with all the stuff in our water, our food packaging, the soaps and the hair products you use, all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of parabens in there that over time are killing your testosterone production in your own body. And they say that testosterone in men nowadays is like way lower than it was back in the 60s and 50s and stuff like that. And it's just because of our environment, right? So go get that checked. It's gotten so bad that the government set the levels. They shifted the levels lower. Right. Instead of fixing the root cause of why are testosterone levels dropping, they're like, well, we don't want guys to have too much testosterone anyway, because it makes them actually think for themselves, actually allows them to be stronger. It gives them a lot of vitality. We can't have these guys with all the wisdom that they've gathered over the years and have the testosterone levels that they had in their 20s, because then they would be like supermen, right? Can't have that. Right. So go get your testosterone levels checked. Long story short, if it's like below the normal range, and the normal range is kind of really subjective too, because it's it's like 300 to 1,000 or something like that. Okay. And this is, total testosterone levels in your body. If it's below that, that's a big problem. But the thing is that your doctor might tell you if your testosterone levels are like 350, they're like, well, it's in the normal range. Yeah, it's normal maybe for an 80-year-old man. It's not normal for a guy in his late 30s. Okay. So if you're down closer to the bottom of the range, you want to do some things to maybe boost that up. There's natural supplements for that. There's, lifting heavy, that'll help with that. Losing weight will help with all that kind of stuff. If you're well below the normal range, you might want to go talk to an endocrinologist and actually get on TRT. All right. But if you can't get control of your emotions, a lot of times your doctor's just going to prescribe an SSRI, some kind of antidepressant or whatever. You might just have low testosterone. Okay. Check on that. All right. But getting back to your girl's emotions, that's not your job to fix her problems. In fact, most women don't want you to fix problems. And that's really hard for guys because we're wired to be problem solvers. So when your girl brings you a problem, your natural gut instinct is to go, well, here's some solutions to that. And the problem with that is that she doesn't want your solutions. She just wants you to listen. And she feels like you're not hearing her. She doesn't feel heard and understood. And she's like, you're not even listening to me, right? And then you're getting frustrated because you're like, yeah, but you got this clearly easy to solve problem. They don't want you to solve the problem. So once you realize that you don't have to solve her problems, dude, it is so freeing. So freeing. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you didn't try to fix your girl's problem, right? And you just let her vent and you just listened to her. You just said, oh, that's terrible. Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. Right. Oh, yeah, I knew that bitch Susan in accounting was a problem. I told you she was a crazy bitch, right? Like you just sort of let her vent to you and you just repeat back some of the stuff she says. Okay. Let me know in the chat or the comments if you're watching the replay, when was the last time you didn't try to fix your girl's problem and just let her vent? And then let us know how that turned out. Okay. So drop that comment. But man, it is so freeing when you realize you don't have to solve women's problems, right? You have your own crap you're dealing with. There's no reason to solve her problems too. And in fact, she loves you more when you don't try to do it. It's kind of counterintuitive based on her own wiring, but it works so well. That's like 99% of John Gray's book of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's basically both men and women don't like unsolicited advice, but for different reasons. Okay. Like women don't want your unsolicited advice because they just want you to listen. Men don't want women's unsolicited advice because we feel like we got it handled. You're stepping on our manhood, right? My mom just can't stop doing that. My mom is so annoying when it comes to that stuff because she really just wants to be helpful. She really just wants to help out. And you do too. That's why you're trying to solve your girl's problems. You just want to be helpful, but stop it. Stop it. You don't need to do it. In fact, it hurts you more when you do that sort of thing. Men might come across as a-holes when we don't tolerate disrespect and we walk away. We remove our time and attention. Okay. Archwinger has a really great Red Pill Archive post on this called Communication is Validation Seeking Behavior. Don't talk, walk. And it's all about when your girl's disrespecting you. And I'm talking about like real disrespect. I'm not talking about playful shit tests, right? I'm talking about actual disrespect, her calling you names, making fun of you or in a way that's not playful, it's hurtful, that sort of thing. It's better to not say anything and just leave, especially if you don't know how to use some of these communication techniques like fogging, negative inquiry, all this kind of stuff. If you don't know how to do any of that stuff, it's better to just remove your time and attention. And outsiders will look at it like you're cold and unforgiving, but your girl's going to respect that you won't accept that disrespect. Like, I'm not tolerating this. She actually is like, oh, okay. No, I like this. Right. In the moment, she might feel like, oh God, like I might have overstepped my bounds. Oh my God, I can't believe he just left me at this party and drove home, and now I got to find my own way home. Like, I can't believe that kind of thing. But she's going to actually appreciate that you don't tolerate that disrespect and that you don't just let yourself get walked all over, So it might come across to other people like a-holes, but she's going to love you for it. Okay. By the way, if you guys are getting value out of any of this stuff, do consider sending a super chat. That supports the show probably more than anything else. Another thing is, like, you don't ask for permission to act like a man. Okay. So what do I mean by that? You do things that you want to do and you don't ask her permission or try to get her buy-in on things. Okay. And this goes it goes hand in hand with being the guy that makes the plans, right? Making decisions without asking her. It's the same kind of thing. You're not asking for her permission for everything that you do. Okay. Now some people will say, oh, you're an arrogant a-hole, right? You're an arrogant a-hole. You just do things. You don't ask for her buy-in or her opinion on stuff. It's like, no, no, not unless I absolutely need her buy-in on something. No, I'm not asking for her buy-in on everything that I'm going to do. And what's cool about that is she sees you as a man who doesn't need approval, right? He doesn't need my approval to be, he doesn't need my permission to do things that he needs to do. But a lot of guys are looking at the relationship like an equal partnership, right? And what they end up doing is deferring to her authority. They want her buy-in on things. They want her permission on things. And so they won't make a move unless she makes the decision on it, which puts her at in the leadership role of the relationship, which she doesn't want to be in. And then she resents you for it. So it's still not an equal partnership. Now she's leading the relationship and she doesn't want to be there. So instead of doing that, just make your own damn decisions. Okay. Do what you need to do. And don't ask for her buy-in on stuff. Okay. You'll find that women aren't asking for your buy-in on a lot of crap either. Like, they'll go run up the credit card and then they'll come back, and instead of telling you how much money they spent, they'll tell you what deal they got, right? Oh, you don't understand. I saved 30%. Yeah, but how much money did you spend? $700 on what? Shoes? Stop it. Stop it, Susan. Right? So she's like, women will do this kind of crap to men, and guys won't even bat an eye. Okay. But when men do it to them, guys are scared to do that kind of thing. I was having a conversation with, I was working with some coaches at the beginning of the year, and one of the coaches, Teresa, she was married to Nikki, one of the other coaches. She and I were having this conversation, and she was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't want my husband to come and ask me for permission for every little thing. And if he did, I would think that was weird." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, exactly. I know what I'm talking about." By the way, guys, I'm on social media. You can follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the different good platforms. Um, one thing that will make other people think that you're an a-hole is that you don't open up just because she wants to talk. Okay. That might come across like a-hole behavior, right? People will say that you're distant, you're being distant. But the thing is that she will feel more drawn in to what she can't fully reach. Okay. She wants to figure you out. She wants to live in this mystery of a romantic relationship. She wants to feel like she's in a love story that's unfolding. And if you are always opening up and being emotionally available and all the kind of stuff like that, being vulnerable, she starts looking at you like you're weak. She starts looking at you like you're boring, like you've given too much away, and she wants to dig this stuff out of you. And the more she has to dig to get this stuff out of you, the more invested she's going to feel. It's a funny thing, but most of us are running our mouths too much. We're too open. We really embrace the idea of being vulnerable. We don't have anyone else to talk to. Right. So when we have problems and stuff like that, we lay it on our girls. And the thing is that girls just aren't wired for that kind of stuff. Even though they might say or think that they want that, they just aren't wired for that. And so the more the less you say and the more she has to actually dig out of you, the more invested and more desire she's going to have for you. It's kind of counterintuitive, but and you might come across like an a-hole by being the guy that's not an open book. But it works. It actually works. If you stop wanting to do what society says and stop trying to make women do what you think that they should do because of your romanticized ideology of what love should be, and you start playing within the rules of the game, you'll actually get better results. It's kind of funny that way. Oh, hey, we got a $2 super chat from Dar Fitness. $2. You should start saying a ducat or 10. Oh, there we go. A ducat or 10. I appreciate that. I think I might start doing that. By the way, today's gonna be the last episode where the Wolfpack guys get automatically bumped up to the shaking booty videos and the shaking titty videos, just because I have to go back after the fact and edit them out. Okay, so I'm gonna make it so like the shaking booty video is like a $20 super chat, and then bouncing titties will be $30 super chat. If you're willing to spend that much, I'll play it. Otherwise, I'll give you guys some audio sound bites that I used to have before. Or I still have them, but that I used to play before these. Just because this is my full-time gig now and I can't afford that demonetization. But since we're doing it this week, Dar Fitness is in the wolf pack. He's getting bumped up to the booty shaking. All right. Okay, where are we at here? So you don't just open up was the last one. And you make the rules in your own world is the next one here. You make the rules in your own world. Sorry, you make the rules in your world. So others will call it controlling, but she finds relief when you take that mental load off her. And this is where a lot of guys don't understand this. Okay. They think that when a woman starts making more than you, that the relationship's over. And that tends to happen. A lot of divorces happen when women surpass their men in their careers and start making more money than them. But a lot of that comes down to you not setting the tone and leading in the relationship. And the thing is that there's a lot of women that are making more money than men these days. And so a lot of men are like, what are we going to do? Right? If women only care about money and they're all making more money than us, what are we going to do? And what I found is that when it comes to a relationship, It's not necessarily about the money. It's being able to set the tone and lead that relationship. And I have a friend, I like to use him as a great example of this. He's one of my 3% brothers. He actually lives down here in Montrose, so about 45 minutes to an hour away. And he and I used to get together, like once a month or so, and have drinks and talk shop and stuff like that. And he made a pretty good living. He worked at a John Deere dealership, so he was dealing in tractors and tractor supplies and stuff like that. And then he also had a fish farm that where he was growing fish and selling fish to the local what is it? Wildlife. I don't know, whatever. He would puts fish in the rivers out here. I'm trying to think of the term for that. The fish and wildlife, department. He would go and sell fish to stock the rivers and the lakes and stuff like that. And so he made pretty good money, but he wasn't like a millionaire or anything like that. And he started dating this girl that he calls Cute Tires. He calls her Cute Tires girl because he bought, or who was it? I think she was buying a car for her daughter. And one of the things she said about it, she's like, "Oh, I really like this car. It's got cute tires." So he calls her Cute Tires girl. Well, anyways, Cute Tires girl is a millionaire. She ran a big construction outfit in Phoenix, Arizona. And so she had millions of dollars. And she was such a boss babe, that, whenever she was around, she was always trying to make the plans. She was always trying to tell him what to do, give him timetables and all this kind of crap. And he would just completely disregard any of that stuff. Right. So an example of this is he would fly into Phoenix and she's like, "All right, I got it all planned out. Here's my car over here. I'm going to take you to this restaurant and we're going to go eat over here." And he's like, "Give me the keys." She's like, "What?" He's like, "Give me the keys. I'm driving." And she's like, "Okay." And so he starts driving and she goes, "Okay, well, the place that I picked out to go eat is over here." And he would just look and find a restaurant on the way and just pull into that parking lot. And she's like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "I want to eat here." Now that might come across like a-hole, but what he's really doing is saying, "I'm not operating in your frame." I think he might have taken it to an extreme level, but he needed to do that because she's so much in her boss babeness. She's so used to running a business and telling everybody what to do and making the plans and all that kind of stuff that she loved it. She was like, "This guy, I can't make these plans. Like, he won't let me. He won't let me make the plans." And she fucking loved the shit out of him for it. Right. And a lot of that stuff comes to the, you make your rules in your world. And this is my world. She's just coming along for the ride. And you have to have that mentality in your relationship. Okay. And by the way, if you don't have that mentality in your relationship and it's something that you want to develop, I have a book on it. All my books are available in the description, but it's Psychology Paradigm. And it's all about rewiring your subconscious mind to act like this on habit, like by doing this on default. And the thing is that 95% of our actions are habit-based. We do it without any conscious thought. And our results in life come from our actions. Okay. Our actions cause reactions. Those reactions cause our results. And if your results, especially with women, aren't where you want them to be, you got to change your actions. Okay. And those actions, 95% of what you're doing in your relationship is bad habits, bad relationship habits. And you got to rewire that so that you have more of that dominant masculine presence. Let me play a commercial for that real quick, and then we'll get back to the topic.
Have you ever felt like something's holding you back in your relationships? Like you're always on the back foot, struggling to connect with women? You're not alone. Many men are taught to be weak, to defer, to play small around women by their upbringing, by society, by the very world that shaped them. But what if you could break free from the invisible chains that have held you back? What if you could rewrite the script? Reprogram the paradigm that's been running your life. This is your chance to step into the man you were always meant to be. In the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm by Paul Bauer, the first book in R.P. Thor's groundbreaking series, you'll learn how to understand and transform the paradigms that have shaped your life. You'll discover how to develop a dominant masculine presence, one that commands respect, inspires trust, and brings fulfillment to your relationships. Don't wait for life to change on its own. Take control. Order your copy of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm now on Amazon. Available in hardcover, paperback, or on Kindle. This is more than a book. It's your roadmap to a life of purpose, strength, and success. Make the decision today. Reprogram your life and step into the man you were meant to be.
Indeed. The next one on the list here is you don't get pulled into arguments. If you're a guy that doesn't get pulled into arguments, people might think that you're dismissive, right? But the thing is that arguing with women is pointless. It's the most retarded thing, retarded thing that you can possibly do with a woman. And the reason why is because men are arguing based on logic, and she's arguing based on a feeling. And neither of you guys are listening to what each other are saying anyway, right? And you can't logic her feelings, okay? And even if you tried, all she's going to hear is your tone. And then she's going to pull out the tone card and be like, I don't like your tone, right? Well, why even bother? Okay. But yeah, people on the outside might think that you're an a-hole, that you're being dismissive. But the thing is that she feels more drawn in when she can't rattle you, and then you don't have to explain yourself. And this comes down to deering. This is why we say don't be deering. Defend, explain, excuse, rationalize. Okay. So she's got a problem with something, and she comes to you and she wants to bitch and complain about it. What do a lot of guys do? They get into an argument and start justifying why they do what they do. Well, if you're the one that's leading the relationship and setting the tone, and you're the king of the relationship, you don't have to explain yourself. And so just by doing that, explaining yourself and then getting into it with her about it, now makes her the authority in the relationship again, which she will resent you for. So stop doing it. You don't have to justify your actions to her. Okay. Now, what you can do is there are ways to talk through this where she feels heard and understood, but you're still going to do what you're going to do anyway. Okay. So that's where the Luca model of communication comes in, right? Listen, understand, clarity, action. Okay. Shout out to Paul Benjamin for that acronym. But it's a lot like if you guys have ever read How to Be a 3% Man, it's a lot like how Corey Wayne explains it near the end, where she's got a problem and he's throwing almonds at her or whatever, trying to get her to open up and talk about why she's upset. And then it's just about listening. It's just about, okay, why are you upset? Why did that make you upset? So let me understand. Me doing X, Y, and Z made you feel this way. Is that right? And you're just playing back whatever her feelings are. And like we were talking about at the beginning, like most women don't even want to solve problems, right? They don't want problem solved. They just want to emote. So just let them emote, like whatever, and then you don't climb on her emotional roller coaster. Like 99% of all this stuff is not climbing on her emotional roller coaster, right? So you're not drawn into an argument. There's no reason to argue. It's just like, okay, well, what's your problem then? Okay, well, let me know what your problem. Let me see if I can understand your problem. Okay, I see where you're coming from. All right, I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing, but I can see why that made you upset. Oh, what an asshole! Only assholes do that kind of stuff. Yeah, but the assholes get laid. You know what I mean? Smash that like button for assholes getting laid. Let's see here. You don't explain your standards. Okay, like this is the same thing. It goes back to not deering, not defending, explaining, excusing, rationalizing. You don't explain your standards. Okay. Now, some people might say you're too rigid, right? And this is where you have boundaries. Okay. You have boundaries, and you don't need to justify your boundaries. Okay. These are what I will and will not tolerate in a relationship. And if you step over that line, we're just not going to have a relationship. That's on you though. Okay. But the thing is that when you are a guy that says what he's going to do and means what he says and follows through on that, she knows that you don't fuck around, right? And this is where women will test your boundaries. They will try to test to see if they can manipulate you, if you will budge on any of this stuff. And when you do, that's when she starts losing respect for you, and that's where attraction starts to erode. So you can't budge. If you have that boundary, you have to enforce those boundaries. It's kind of like a big problem that guys have, especially when they get married or they get a girl that lives with them, is that they lose a lot of their power. As soon as you get a girl, like you sign on the dotted line and she can take half your shit, you lose a lot of your power, because and a lot of women know, like, he's not going to have to pay alimony and child support and all this kind of stuff. So how far can I push this boundary? You know what I mean? And if you want to blow up your marriage, like, it's probably going to cost you a ton of money. So what do a lot of guys do? They give women ultimatums, and these ultimatums that they can't follow through on, they'll give them that. And the thing is, when you give a woman an ultimatum, it's basically a declaration of powerlessness. You're just like, I don't know what else to do, and so I'm giving you this ultimatum. And if you can't follow through on that, and she breaks that rule, and now you're just mad because she broke that rule and you couldn't actually execute any kind of consequences. She knows that you're toothless, right? You can't do anything about any of this kind of stuff. So it's almost better to not get married and not move these chicks in with you, so that when you say, hey, I'm not going to tolerate this behavior, and we're not going to have a relationship, it's much easier to walk away, right? This is why a lot of this kind of stuff is really good. Like, before you pull that trigger, before you put a ring on it, before you decide to get the government involved in your relationships, it's good to be doing a lot of this stuff from the beginning. It's much harder to do this after the fact, after you've let her walk all over you for 10, 15, 20 years. And then now all of a sudden you're trying to take back control of the relationship. It's really hard. Ryan Stone looks at it like, what does he call it? The 1,000-foot tow rope, like trying to tow a ship and and you're trying to turn course. It's going to take a while for that tow rope to catch up and actually start pulling that other boat around, right? It takes time, and in some relationships aren't salvageable. You know what I mean? So it's much better to do this kind of stuff from the beginning if possible. But if it's already too late for you, you got to deal with the cards that you've been dealt. You know what I mean? By the way, if you ever want to swap notes with other guys that are working on this stuff, it's really good to get in a group of other like-minded men. That's why I created the Wolf Pack. I was just talking with a guy. I was just on his podcast yesterday. And we were talking about how a lot of men just don't have this kind of outlet. They don't have a place where they can go and talk about their problems with other guys that have been through it. And that's why I created the Wolf Pack. And so I only have really one question. Who wants to run with the Wolves?
Bear Club? Not anymore.
Home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
All right. The last one I have here is what time? Man, this is actually a short list. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the optimal number of items. And I find if I have 15 items to talk about, 15 bullet points to talk about, my episodes go like an hour and 15 minutes. And so I was like, okay, let me drop off 5 of those and try to just do a list of about 10 bullet points to go through. And now it's only like 40 minutes. I'm going to find a sweet spot here one of these days. What do we have here? You don't get pulled into arguments. You don't explain your standards. The last one I have here is you don't try to prove how nice you are, right? That's a big problem with guys with nice guy syndrome, right? they're always trying to prove how nice they are by doing all this nice stuff. And a lot of their nice stuff is really not nice at all. It's all just one big covert contract at the end of the day. Right. So you're not trying to prove anything. And so people might call you an asshole for this sort of thing. But the thing is that she's going to sleep with the guy who doesn't need to be liked. Like, your job isn't to get her to like you all the time. Your job isn't there to make sure she's happy all the time, you know? And my man Clinton here, Paul Clinton, says, my grandma didn't need a man to act psychotic to respect him. Well, no one needs a man to act psychotic. I don't know what you're talking about there, but he says, trying to hold frame with these narc or BPD Prozac poppers isn't happening. I agree. And in fact, I would say being in a relationship with chicks like that is a bad idea anyway, but you should have been able to filter that kind of stuff out while you were spinning plates. You know, there's no reason to be locked into a relationship with any kind of crazy bitch like that. And the percentage of mentally ill women is far higher nowadays. It really is, right? Like feminism gave women everything that they ever thought that they wanted, right? They got equality. They have the ability to get into executive type roles now. Women are trying to get, there's a big push to get women into STEM and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is that women are the biggest users of SSRIs, right? Like they're all on antidepressants now. The thing is, they're not all on antidepressants, right? But a lot of guys make the mistake during the dating process of not weighing their options and keeping their options open for a longer period of time. A lot of guys just hate the dating circuit. And so the first girl that's somewhat nice to them, they go all in on the one girl and get that sniper one-itis dating mentality with the one girl. And then these chicks with, they're narcs, or they got BPD, or they're all on, in therapy or on antidepressants or whatever. These guys are like, I could fix her. They got that Captain Save-A-Ho mentality, right? Stop doing that shit. Okay. But you should be able to weed those chicks out while you're casually dating and spinning plates. All right. That's all we got for this episode, guys. A little bit of a shorter episode, but that's cool. We'll give you guys the rest of your Friday back so you guys can enjoy the weekend. Tune into the podcast on Monday. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest relationship mistakes men make. All right. If you think you've been screwing up with your girl lately, you're not going to want to miss this one, because I guarantee one of the things I talk about, you're probably doing, and I'll give you guys some alternative options of how to handle that kind of stuff. But that's all we got. If you guys haven't done so already, do like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. Until Monday, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Okay.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.